Afghanistan, you see these people who have literally nothing. We're so lucky to have even the opportunity to do what we want. The American dream as a whole is you have the ability to dream. And I feel like if you don't take advantage of that, then you're doing a disservice to everything else around you. I wanted to build the best motorcycle in the world. This is my idea of the American dream. 4 years ago, I quit my job to work on something that I was going to actually be fulfilled in, but it was a real gut check. I was a kid that was on my own program. I fell in love with motorcycles because this was one thing where you could push your limits and there are serious consequences to it. And that's why so many veterans ride and work on motorcycles and want to be part of that culture. So there's my dad sitting on a bomb under a wing. My dad and his brothers were in the Marine Corps. My older brother was. And if I was going to be in the infantry, I was going to be the best that there was, so I decided to join the Marine Corps. We had an 8-man squad. I was a machine gunner.
Hey, Tony, say hi. Let's talk about this beautiful bulletproof glass, okay? This is supposed to protect them right here.
In Afghanistan, we were left alone for so long. We got lost on our platoon roster and we got lost on the company's roster. From the very beginning, you're taught the Marines don't leave each other behind. And then here you are being left behind.
It really sucks today. Like, you really don't need to brush your teeth. You can just hold your mouth open and it'll get sandblasted clean.
Like fucking raccoon eyes.
Ultimately, our squad became known as the Exiled 8. Our saying was the worst it can get is the best it's going to be. And home is where you make it. So we were actually right there in Afghanistan. November 4th, I got shot at by a sniper. On the 12th, Karen stepped on an IED. He lost his legs. On November 9th, we found our goat, Jeremy. And actually, the guy who wrote me that note of where the coordinates were, he named his firstborn kid Jeremy after the goat.
Come on, Jeremy. Come on, buddy.
Jeremy actually got bit by a pit viper.
Dying, huh?
So we had to shoot Jeremy. As shitty as it was, by being together, you made it a good time, you know. I'm really glad I took all these pictures. You define what freedom is, so by how you build your life. Because those people there, they had nothing. And they certainly weren't in a free country like we are. But at the same time, they were the most free that I've ever seen anybody, you know. For the most part, they're all good memories. This is in the past, something that's already done. It's part of me, but it's not who I am. When we got back from Afghanistan, it was weird because where am I going from here? And they're like, go home. It's like, okay, but the Marine Corps is my home. And they're like, no. Do something. Go to school.
I was like, damn, this guy's like, he's like Carroll Shelby.
Having the experience that I had in the Marine Corps, we were fighting a war with our hands tied behind our back by politicians that weren't there and had never seen it. I came home and I wanted nothing to do with it. I was like, you know, all I want to do is just buy a motorcycle. So I bought a 1975 Honda CB750 for $1,000, and like I got my first one when I was 14, and I rebuilt it with my dad. But when I got done with it, it was like, okay, I want to do more.
You know, Tony showed up 4 years ago at Origin. He said, I have a dream to build this American superbike, and I'm wondering if you can be an advisor.
For so long, I wanted to be an engineer, so I decided to go to school.
He had been working at a motorcycle company as the lead engineer and designer, and he showed me some photos of the things he was part of building. The kid's got something special. You know, call him a designer with the mind of an engineer.
I wasn't happy with what we were doing there. I sat in my car for 30 minutes before I went to work, wondering just what I was doing. That's a long life. If you're gonna build something that's the best, it should be the best in every aspect. and I felt like working for somebody else, I was leaving a lot of that on the table, and I knew I could do a better job, but I didn't have any money.
I remember one of my advisors telling me, hey, Pete, you're not special, your ideas aren't special, and nobody gives a shit. Do you believe in them? Yeah. And you're complaining about not having capital to execute them. I said, yeah, I don't have the capital. He goes, you got a home? I said, I do. He goes, go remortgage it, extract the capital, and do what you're gonna do. And that's exactly what I did to really get Origin going. And it's the same advice I gave Tony. I said, Tony, you believe in this idea? Yeah. You believe it's gonna be better than what anyone else has ever done? Yeah, I do. Oh, what are you waiting for?
The whole thought process behind the motorcycle is I wasn't going to compromise on anything. If it meant we had to make a screw, we were making the screw. Looks a little tight over here. When you start adding up little compromises, you know, ounces equals pounds and pounds equals pain. Any grunt will know that, because when you're packing your pack, you don't add any excess shit because you're going to have to carry it forever. With the Velos, everything is made specifically for that motorcycle. There's no compromise when it comes to it. We're gonna build the best motorcycle possible, and it costs what it costs. My wife and I had a big conversation about what was gonna happen and what needed to happen financially. But I was fully committed that if it came to be that I needed to sleep on the floor in the garage, that's what it's gonna take.
You know, the little things that you sacrifice, they could be so massive to somebody else. You know, like Tony, I can't believe you had to sell everything, man. But in comparison to the end goal, they're so tiny.
So many people are like, oh, you know, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is affecting me. It's like, it's bullshit. Stop paying attention to it. Put your head down, do the work, change your own life, you know? Because you go through history and you read about all the stories of people who have done great things. I mean, they're no different than you or I, they just chose to do it. And people are like, oh, well, my circumstance. Fuck your circumstance. If you don't like your circumstance, change your circumstances. You know, you find a way or make one. I love being useful. Using my mind for something useful, using my body for something useful, and trying to be the best at something that I can be. And, you know, if one person's ever been the best at anything, anyone else can. You know, I'm not going to go run a 4-minute mile, but I can definitely make the best motorcycle in the world.
Sent me the photo of the finished bike, and I said, get that thing up here. First thing I thought was like, why isn't this thing in an enclosed trailer?
Yeah. How's it going?
Good, you? Good. Well, he had borrowed the truck and borrowed the trailer because the guy had sold everything to build this thing. Dude, how sexy is this?
It's crazy.
This is American manufacturing right here. This is American muscle right here. I mean, this machine on a dyno in 5th gear hits 190 miles an hour. Oh, that thing wants to go.
He took it for a ride. He got off it. He's like, I'm thinking, I think I want to give one away.
A lot of veterans chose motorcycles as their form of therapy coming back from war. Denim and boots is the uniform of riding a motorcycle. We're building this new jean. We're calling it the Victory Jean. I was thinking about doing a bison boot, motorcycle boot, where the sides are black denim. And then doing this bike, the first one, blacked out with a bison seat. We'll use the same hide for the boots, the seat, the patch on the back.
That'd be sick.
Tie the whole thing together and then give the bike away.
We can definitely do that. That's awesome.
Yeah. What's the build time on the next one?
About 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months.
That's quick.
When's Veterans Day?
November 11th. October, November. Okay. That's quick. That's quick.
We got to give this bike away as part of our Veterans Day promotion.
Our usual build time is about 4 months, and that allows everyone that we work with time to build what they need. We're doing this one in 6 weeks, but when I tell them that we're doing this for a giveaway for Veterans Day, everyone is making sacrifices to get it done. Jake is obviously here at 10:15 at night, and he's got to be at work at 4 in the morning.
I guess I've been in the motorcycle industry long enough to know that everything happens on a tight deadline for whatever reason. I'm trying to get myself away from that scenario as much as possible, but for Tony, we're doing it.
I appreciate you being here right now. It is November 1st right now, and we're shooting to get it done by the 6th, but hoping to get it done by Friday. 3 days. I don't know what it's like to be a mom, but I do know what it's like to bring something to life. So next up, we're gonna take this back, check fitment, it should be good. We'll put it together, take it all apart, bring it to powder coat, get it powder coated, bring it back, start assembling it, finish the wiring harness, do final assembly, check the wiring harness, hook up the wheels, tires, brakes, suspension, chain. It's just all of it left, really.
These have tape on.
Look at that.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
That would have been good if you did that first time.
As much as you think you can do something by yourself, it's always better to ask for help, and people are always willing to help you. You know, especially if you're willing to help them. You know, I had a hard time asking for help for the longest time. But your good friends, your true friends, they want to see you succeed. So they'll help you out. And you'll help them out.
Be nothing, Tony. Oh my god, honey.
I always call on Mikey as the extra hand. He is my sanity. Wow, look at that. You're right, Mike.
Yeah.
What would I do without you? Mikey, why don't you tell him when you drank out of a homeless man's paper bag?
You gotta plug something in here.
What?
Spent New Year's Eve with a homeless man. Dark time. Well, I would say Tony needs help because he'd be nothing without me.
We're good. She's secure.
You know, it's been amazing watching Tony start with an idea like this and it becoming a reality. I remember the night he called me that he sold his first bike, and it made my night. I could not be happier for this guy. He deserves it. He worked for it. It's awesome.
Oh, good morning, America.
Post 1 is post 2, radio check over.
About right here, going.
The Marines. It's a big brotherhood. The 8 of us decided to never settle. Just keep moving forward. That's what I'm most proud of.
I've seen all the struggles he's been through, and just seeing it come together like this it's awesome. I'm very happy for him.
To see the thing that started here now manifested in physical form. That is victory. To touch it, to feel it, to smell it. To have that visceral response to that thing. Nothing compares to the victory of that. What was hard is going to get a lot harder. Not being able to sleep and getting up early in the morning and staying up late to fulfill this thing that is consuming you. That thing consuming you is an idea. And with the American dream and the ability to exercise your American dream, you can do anything. That's true freedom.
If you don't feel fulfilled and you don't feel free, my only question to you is, what have you sacrificed?